In the world of sneakers, some things feel sacred. You got the Jumpman, the air bubble, and now the reverse swoosh. That backward check has become the calling card for one of the biggest artists on the planet, Travis Scott. His Jordan 1s aren't just shoes anymore. They're cultural statements, flipping for thousands online and basically defining what's cool for a whole new generation. But what if the most iconic part of this multi-million-dollar sneaker empire was just a ripoff? What if the whole Travis Scott Jordan wave was built on a piece of history the game tried to bury? Because NBA legend Dennis Rodman is finally talking, and he's not pulling any punches.
Travis Scott has copied my shoe. I was the first guy to do mine backwards. And I was playing with Chicago Bulls. Come on, Travis, give me some credit,
At a sneaker convention, of all places, surrounded by the same culture that worships Travis Scott, Rodman picks up one of Scott's shoes, stares right into the camera, and drops a bomb that sent shockwaves through the whole game. Travis Scott has copied my shoe. I was the first guy to do mine backward when I was playing with the Chicago Bulls. Come on, Travis, give me some credit. You copied my shit. This ain't new, but either way, congratulations. That one comment didn't just start a debate, it blew the doors off a double standard that's been brewing for decades, a double standard that made Travis Scott millions while leaving a pioneer like Dennis Rodman with nothing but a footnote. This is the story of how a bold design choice from the 90s got caught in a modern-day hype machine, and why Rodman is finally demanding his respect. For a lot of the younger sneakerheads, the reverse swoosh was born in 2019 with that legendary mocha colorway of the Travis Scott Air Jordan 1. The sneaker world absolutely lost its mind. People acted like it was some kind of revolutionary move, a complete reinvention of a classic, and the success was just insane. The kicks retail for about $175, but were immediately hitting resale for way over $1,000. This wasn't a shoe, it was an asset. It was the crown jewel of the whole Cactus Jack brand deal with Nike, leading to a flood of Jordan 1s, Air Forces, and Dunks that all had unprecedented levels of hype. The reverse swoosh was Travis Scott's signature, turning every shoe it touched to gold. The media and the sneaker industry ate it up, calling him a genius for breathing new life into an old silhouette. But while the hype machine was going crazy, a major piece of history was getting erased, and you better believe Dennis Rodman was watching the whole circus. To really get what Rodman's talking about, we gotta rewind the clock. Not to 2019, but way back to 1994.
However, the backward swoosh design was first used in 1994 on the Nike Air Darwin that Dennis Rodman wore throughout his time with the San Antonio Spurs. Rodman laced up the kicks in the latter half of his first season and the beginning stages of his second with the Spurs. The shoe didn't officially bear his name or likeness, but many still considered it to be his signature sneaker.
MJ was off playing baseball and the NBA was a whole different scene. It was during this time that Nike dropped a shoe that broke all the rules, the Nike Air Darwin. This thing was a rugged outdoor basketball shoe made for the blacktop, built more like a damn boot than a slick court sneaker. The whole design was tough, meant to take a beating, just like the man who made it famous, Dennis Rodman. While he was playing for the San Antonio Spurs, Rodman made the Air Darwin his unofficial signature shoe. And right there on the side, plain as day, was the detail everyone seems to have forgotten. The first ever reverse swoosh on a Nike sneaker. Designed by the legend Tinker Hatfield, the same guy behind most of the iconic Air Jordans, the Air Darwin was a statement. That backward swoosh wasn't a mistake. It was a middle finger to the norm. It was rebellious. It was different. And it was the perfect match for the persona of Dennis the Worm Rodman, the most unconventional player in the league. The shoe ended up becoming a cult classic, not just for basketball, but for skaters who appreciated how tough it was. The evidence is right there in black and white. More than 20 years before Travis Scott's Jordans caused a full-blown meltdown on the internet, Dennis Rodman was playing in front of millions of people wearing a Nike shoe with a backward swoosh. So if the history is this cut and dry, how the hell did we get here? How did an entire generation get brainwashed into thinking the reverse swoosh belongs to Travis Scott while Dennis Rodman's role got buried in the archives?
But if you look at this shoe here, and it is funny as hell. Look at the history. If somebody can look it up on their phone right now and tell me what shoe this copy looks like when I was with the Bulls. Tell me what shoe this looks like. You let me know what Travis Scott did.
The answer is in the guts of the sneaker industry and its powerful hype machine. The industry runs on what's new and what's hot. It throws its weight behind celebrity collaborators who can move units, and historical facts often get left in the dust. Travis Scott, with his massive fan base and his status as a cultural icon, was the perfect engine for Jordan Brand to spark a new wave of excitement. His collabs weren't just shoes, they were a full-blown cultural phenomenon, and that reverse swoosh was sold to the world as his unique, innovative signature. The narrative was clean and easy. Travis Scott, the visionary, reinvented the Jordan 1. This is a classic case of cultural erasure where the pioneers of the past get pushed aside for whatever is trending now. For the OGs in the sneaker game, this is a huge point of frustration. They see the industry just repackaging old heat for a new generation and calling it innovation. While some media outlets have documented the real history of the design, the mainstream story has mostly ignored it. It's all about the hype, the resale price, and the celebrity, not the origin story. This creates a glaring double standard. Dennis Rodman was one of the most marketable athletes of the 90s, yet his role as a sneaker pioneer was largely forgotten by the masses. In contrast, Travis Scott got a whole empire built on that exact same design element, raking in millions and getting crowned as a design genius. So this brings us to the main event. Is this straight up theft or is it just inspiration? And who's really to blame here? Is it Travis or is it the puppet master, Nike?
Let's be real. Travis Scott didn't sneak into the Nike vault and steal the blueprints for the Air Darwin. Nike owns the intellectual property for the reverse swoosh. It was designed by their guy, Tinker Hatfield, and they have the legal right to use it however they want. But when you look at it from the culture's perspective, it gets real grimy. Dennis Rodman is the one who made that shoe famous. His rebellious energy is what gave the Air Darwin its edge. Without Rodman, the reverse swoosh might have just been some forgotten design quirk. So for him to watch that same exact element become the foundation of another star's brand, all without a single nod or acknowledgement, it's easy to see why he'd be frustrated. Some people, like the rapper Waka Flocka Flame,
of course, he definitely copied it. Yeah, but Travis Scott, he branded it, so.
Have said that even though Scott copied the idea, he branded it and took it to a whole new level. But that's the whole issue. Scott and Nike built a multi-million-dollar brand on a foundation someone else laid, but they marketed it like it was something brand new. To his credit, Rodman usually ends his call-outs with congratulations, which tells you his beef isn't really with Scott's success, but with the total lack of respect for the OG. Interestingly, the story took a turn recently when Travis Scott dropped a commercial for a new Jordan release that starred Dennis Rodman himself playing a Willy Wonka-type character.
Damn it. Damn, Dennis. It's third time this week, bro. Oh, what up? Welcome to the factory.
It seems to be a nod to the whole controversy and a sign that they've buried the hatchet. But for many, it feels like too little, too late. A move to clean things up after the fact instead of giving credit where it was due from the jump. At the end of the day, the reverse swoosh story is bigger than just a sneaker. It's about how culture remembers its own history and how sometimes that memory gets manipulated for profit. Dennis Rodman was a trailblazer. He rocked the reverse swoosh when it was a risk, not a guaranteed sellout. He and Tinker Hatfield planted a flag for being different. Travis Scott came along and capitalized on that design in an era of insane hype, building an empire and cashing checks that Rodman never saw for that specific contribution. While Nike has the legal papers, the question of cultural ownership is a lot more complicated. Does the credit go to the guy who designed it, the athlete who made it legendary, or the artist who made it a global phenomenon? The industry has already crowned its king, putting the reverse swoosh crown on Travis Scott's head, but now Dennis Rodman is demanding a recount. He's forcing the culture to look in the mirror and ask a hard question. In the billion-dollar sneaker game, how much is a legacy really worth?